One of the great things about doing this conference is I get to see a bunch of the same faces and friends and coworkers. And one of them is who I'm going to introduce next, is Vasu, who, let me make sure I get the talk name right. She's a VP of Technology at Bread Financial, and she's going to talk about Bread's transformation, innovating with quality, safety, and second mover strategy. I love these type of talks because everyone talks about how transformation, hey, there's just a playbook, hire some consultants, do whatever. Real life is messy. Transformations are messy. Even at the companies that get through it, there's always all sorts of learnings, and Vasu's going to come talk about their transformation, what went well, what did they learn and might do again if they did it again, and hopefully you can take a few items from that and learn from her. So I want to introduce Vasu. Come on up.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Good morning. Thrilled to be here and very excited to share our story with you. So a little bit about me. Oops. This.
Give us 1 second to get the slides up. There you go.
A little bit about me. I'm Vasu Andolu. My biggest and most important role is that of being a mom of 2 naughty teenagers. And as you can imagine, that means I have mastered a few techniques. The art of deciphering one-word text messages, able to pretend that I know K-pop and TikTok trends, and being able to negotiate. My kids keep me grounded. My kids keep me grounded, but I should say I am pretty much on my toes all day. I consider myself a lifelong learner, especially about all things product and tech. What that translates sometimes into is long debates, geek sessions, and team events turned into design sessions on pizza boxes or anything else we might find. As you can probably tell, I am from India. I come from a city in South India called Hyderabad. It's famous for its biryani and also equally famous for its traffic jams. Good news, it builds patience in you, whether you like it or not. My philosophy, don't chase perfection. I learned pretty early in life that there is a high cost of perfection. Right now, I believe in continuous improvement, so get a little bit better every day. I love to cook. I dream of having a restaurant someday, but my kids say I should start with a food truck first and then scale up. Kind of makes sense. I love travel. My bucket list is growing faster than I can check things off. So hopefully one of these days it'll change. Professionally, I am a VP of Technology at Bread. I lead enterprise architecture. What that means is that I juggle multiple priorities one day, passionate opinions another day, but work on making a meaningful change all the time. A little bit about Bread. We are a tech-enabled, tech-forward financial services company. We offer simple and personalized payment and lending solutions. Headquartered in Columbus, Ohio, offer B2B and B2C products, about 6,000 employees worldwide, and we partner with more than 1,200 different brands across many vertical industries. Super excited and proud of our awards and recognitions. They are a testament to the work done by our incredible teams who work every day to make a difference for our customers. A little bit about our product suite. We offer private label cards. Think of those as store cards that you can use in a store. Co-brand cards are also similar to retail cards, except that you can use them everywhere. We also have our own proprietary card portfolio. We offer pay solutions like installment loans and split pay products, and then savings and high yield savings and CDs as well. So why did we embark on this journey? The answer is simple. Customer expectations are changing. The regulatory scene is evolving, and technology is advancing faster than ever before. So we really wanted to embrace these advancements to improve our value proposition and improve our experiences to our customers. So what is second mover advantage? I take it similarly as someone watching someone else build a furniture set from IKEA without an instruction manual. Imagine that. And then coming and quietly building it right. So it's all about turning yesterday's lessons into tomorrow's advantage. How can I go back to the previous slide? Okay, thank you. This is a little bit of the Gartner data. So from a market share perspective, first movers have only 10% of the market share. Let's reflect on that for a moment. While second movers enjoy almost 3 times as much, a 28% market share. Also from a failure rate perspective, first movers are at a whopping 47%, while second movers have only 8% failure rate. So what does this mean? Coming first does not always guarantee success. When you think about it, there's a high cost to R&D, trials and errors, and in contrast, the second movers are able to learn from the mistakes of the first movers, refine, leverage a mature tech, and be able to be more successful. This should be a familiar slide, first versus second movers. On the left are the first movers, definitely some stories there, and we have some market leaders as well there. In contrast, on this second mover list, we recognize all of those brands as either market leaders or doing very well in the market. So let's talk about a case study of maybe an atypical example, fashion. Anyone shop here at Zara? A few hands, okay. So Zara entered an industry that was already very saturated with legacy players who held the market share. So how did Zara reinvent and be successful? They focused on speed. Design to shelf turnaround is only a few weeks. Imagine that. Zara produces 20 micro seasons a year. Compare that with their competitors of 3 to 4 seasons a year. How is that speed enabled? Through a smart supply chain. It's a mix of in-house manufacturing and an optimized cost and responsiveness to really reduce that turnaround time to produce the level of speed of 2 to 3 weeks from design to the store. They have a trend-first culture where the feedback from the store to the design team is sent directly, and that's incorporated in those batches. They focus on scarcity. So if you've ever shopped at Zara and you're considering buying a dress, I know if I am shopping elsewhere, I'll think, oh, maybe I'm going to think about it, come back next week and buy it. But with Zara, that design, that dress might not be there next time you go. So it also pushes a little bit on that impulse buying for the customers. And it's tech-enabled. It's really a tech company that does fashion. So what did all of this get Zara to? Zara's revenues were about $30 billion, again in an industry that was already saturated. So from this case study, it shows that companies can be successful in the market by focusing on speed, execution, customer first approach, not just innovation. So let's talk about our transformation journey. We're definitely still in the midst of our journey and continuing to learn. Our transformation is across 6 different facets. And as I talk about each aspect of our transformation, there were lessons we incorporated from first movers, as well as lessons we learned from our own journey. So starting with cloud transformation, again, the goal is the same, being able to leverage all the capabilities of the cloud to elevate our own capabilities. And being a second mover, we focused on a pragmatic versus a puristic approach. So what that meant is that we focused on reimagining and refactoring critical capabilities that drove business value. For us, that translated to digital capabilities which our customers interact with. We are really fortunate that we are doing this at a time where there's so much of advancement in AI, and we were able to leverage AI for reverse engineering the legacy code bases to be able to understand the business rules and the logic embedded. In another life, that would have taken significant cost and time to do this. And then right from the get-go, we focused on cloud native versus cloud agnostic services. Why? Because we wanted to reduce the toil for our engineers, as well as really improve our agility by leveraging the out-of-box capabilities of cloud native services. Now, if we had a do-over, what would we do differently? One, we would definitely standardize more options upfront. That really reduces the the fragmentation of the teams and the decision fatigue. And faster decision making. As all of you can attest, there's a lot of options out there, and there's really no wrong answer. And so, versus the debate, we needed to pick a lane and execute with clarity. As they say, the costliest service in the cloud is one where there is no decision made. Let's face it, we are a bank, and so security and compliance are not just checkbox items, but they are table stakes. They are front and center of everything that we do. It's like checking every door and checking under every bed, even if you know there's no one there, making sure everything is secure. So with security, our approach was to shift left to improve our releases. We incorporated preventative controls right in the pipeline. Think of things like static code analysis, secret scanning, vulnerability analysis. We partnered with enterprise risk management teams upfront to align on the risk appetite. Why? Because surprises are great for birthday parties. Surprise audits, if you've been on any, not so much fun. And then we leverage data-driven technology control testing so that we can identify the gaps in our controls using dashboards and data. Now, if we were to do this again, definitely some lessons learned. There is a cost of implementing controls, and we need to be more deliberate about the minimum viable controls because there is a speed and agility impact as a result of implementing too many controls. And then conversion controls to avoid duplication. Sometimes we were bubble wrapping over bubble wrap, and then that impacted our efficiency. AI. Well, if I don't talk about AI, maybe you'll think I will come from a cave, but AI, we have ambitious aspirations for AI just like everyone else. We want to leverage AI to improve the productivity of our associates, gain insights, and really wow our customers, but in a responsible and safe way. No rogue robots. So being a second mover, we again had the advantage of established governance guardrails. So there were already established frameworks which we were able to leverage as we set up our AI governance. The choice of use cases, again, when it came to that, there were already established use cases that were proven in a regulatory environment. So we started with human-in-the-loop use cases, internal customer use cases, able to learn and scale along the way. We definitely didn't want to be in the news for the wrong reasons. And then we leveraged vendor solutions for AI as well, because why reinvent the wheel? Now, if we had a do-over, we would focus more on the data readiness for AI, especially for unstructured data. So if you think about AI, the effectiveness of AI depends upon the effectiveness of the data that you feed to it. So timely data, data that is clean, high quality, data that has been tagged appropriately. It's like taking a messy fridge of leftovers and asking the chef to whip up a gourmet meal. Not quite possible if you do that, right? So with AI, while we were able to do a lot of that for structured data, when it came to scaling, especially for agentic use cases, et cetera, unstructured data is an opportunity, and that's the piece that we are currently working on. Another aspect of it is the synthetic data and making that available to the AI. One other thing that we would do maybe more of is change management and communication. Again, we definitely had a change management work stream, but what we found is, especially with AI, where it's a different way of doing things for the associates, having more lunch and learn sessions, more education, and building that comfort along the way would have gone a long way. Quality, it's all about incorporating automation to improve consistency and efficiency. And we started by making quality everybody's responsibility. So it was no longer the quality engineering team's responsibility, but quality was important, and everybody from dev to ops to the guy who says, is testing done? All of them were responsible for quality. So we also aligned the tech stack for QE and engineering to be a single coding stack, so that there is no more I can't code those tests issue, because if you can code, you can also write the tests. And then we started with the most receptive teams to really gain momentum. One of our biggest learnings is starting small, and you will find that theme all across. That we started small, we made some learnings, we incorporated feedback, and then did the scaling. And that was really important for the momentum. It's like caffeine. Now, if we were to have a do-over, we would treat test data and frameworks like a product with its own product roadmap, product backlog, product vision, because just like code, test infrastructure needs love and version control. We would have more embedded teams with platform engineers. It's like sneaking veggies into your kids' lunch boxes with mac and cheese. You don't resist it if you don't notice it. And then we spent quite a bit of time on standardizing tooling and versions. So we would definitely go Docker first, so that you don't ever hear more of the, oh, it works on my version. Let's face it, this is a DevOps conference. I don't need to talk to all of you about why DevOps is important and what it unlocks. But as a second mover in our DevOps journey, we were fortunate to adopt a more mature tool set. A lot of things out of the box. Things that needed to be hard-coded in the days of open source are available out of the box, along with some shiny bells and whistles. Definitely improved our agility. Again, a platform mindset focusing on areas of highest value and then scaling up. And we adopted the DevOps culture from the start, focusing on metrics that matter. We can go crazy with metrics, but we focused only on a few, specifically the DORA metrics like MTTR, release frequency, incidents due to change, etc. Now, if we had a do-over, we would be better planning for some of the nuances that came up. I still think we started right by starting small, but we did recognize there were more complexities as we went along our journey. And so perhaps doing more due diligence and discovery before scaling would have helped us better estimate and plan for the scale. Reinforcement and communication, again, you'll find this as another theme. Tech and changing tech is actually the easy part. The difficult part is changing minds, evangelizing, having more internal champions, understanding and explaining why we need to change the way we've always done it before comments. And so maybe more lunch and learns, maybe more pizza would have helped. And then we come to the operating model. With the operating model, we adopted a product and a value stream based operating model, and the goal was really to bring business, product, and tech teams together and define that flow of work. So being a second mover, we adopted the well-established practices in team topologies. These had the best practices in defining value streams, enabling teams, and platform teams. At a very high level, and this is from the team topologies book, stream-enabled teams provide direct value to the customer. Platform teams provide golden pipelines and common components. Enabling teams are really there to remove the impediments for these value stream teams. We also implemented inverse Conway maneuver. Anyone knows Conway's law? Okay, great. So Conway's law, very interesting one. What it states is that the communication mechanisms between teams will show up the way they develop software. So what does that mean? If two teams are not having proper communication, it will awkwardly show up in the software they build as well. And so we turned it on its head and we defined the boundaries between the value streams based on the desired target architecture. Again, same approach, piloted with a few teams before scaling. Specifically for the operating model, we knew upfront that there would be a lot of change management needed. So we had a change management work stream focused on providing the education and communication along the way. And really, we brought business and product and tech teams along the journey. And so the result was that it became a company-wide journey versus just a tech or an agile journey. Now, definitely some lessons learned from our journey so far as well. If we had a do-over, we would pilot with some more complex dependency teams. What we found is, while we had those initial successes, some of our pilot teams had simpler dependencies which were easier to address. In contrast, some of the teams that came later had more complex dependencies that definitely needed more planning and estimation. Additional education on the operating product model would have helped. What we realized is more detailed granularity was needed in terms of how the roles and responsibilities change, a from-to view. So while we focused on change management, more detail and more time would also continue to help. So bringing it all together, how did this second mover advantage help us? It helped us move faster. It is helping us transform various aspects in parallel. And it is helping us transform at a lower cost than our first movers. So whether it is parenting or modernizing legacy systems, having the edge of being a second mover definitely helps, because it helps us understand the mistakes of the first movers, refine our strategy, focus on the timing. It's not just about being first, it's about being right, it is about leveraging the customer input, and it is about execution. So Thank you to all of my incredible teams that made this possible. Thank you to my team members who are here to support me. And thank you for listening to our story. Hopefully, our story, our perspectives, and our insights will help you write yours. Thank you.